Who I believe to be the true birthers of choosing beggars, it's entitled parents. Our first one is from Muted Violinist 5151. For context, I work nights in a gas station. About a week ago, a couple of kids, probably no more than 15 to 16 years old, who are semi-regulars, as in I've seen them a few times before but not often enough to know them, came in around 2 a.m. and pulled a runner on me, with around $30 US in drinks and snacks. As I'm not allowed to chase shoplifters, I do what's required and leave a note for my boss so she can pull the tapes and post the pictures for us so we can tell them to get out if they're ever stupid enough to come back. You wouldn't believe how many thieves actually are, in fact, stupid enough to come back. These two morons in particular. Welp, 2 days ago, I'm working my only weekly day shift, and who should walk in but my pair of thieves? And who do they have with them? One of their mothers! I immediately buckle down and tell them they need to go, now. The following is how the conversation went. The cast is, Karen will be the mother, B1 for boy 1, B2 for boy 2. AM will be awesome manager, truly the best. And then we have me, duh. The two thieves walk in. You need to go right now.
For what? We didn't even do anything.
You know exactly what you did, and you're banned from this store. You can leave on your own feet or leave with a police escort. You choose. They leave and go back to the car waiting for them at the pump. From the window, I can see them talking to the woman in the driver's seat, gesturing and pointing. She gets out of her car and storms into the store.
Why the hell did you tell my son and his friend they can't be here?
Ma'am, they ran out with nearly $30 in products. We do not allow thievery, and they are banned from the store. You are welcome to come and get what they need, but if they're seen on the property, the police are going to be called.
No, my son is not a thief. How dare you? Get me a manager.
Gladly. She doesn't know my manager has less patience for customer crap than I do. Since the store isn't very big, she's already heard this exchange from the office. I bring her out and she says exactly what I did.
That's a bold-faced lie. My son is a good boy. You're targeting him and his friends for no reason.
You're welcome to come back and watch the tape for yourself. Karen says she'll do just that.
And once I have proof you're lying, I'll be expecting this little
slurs for homosexuals
to be fired.
Awesome manager brings Karen into the office. I accompany them. Being the assistant, it's both part of my job and a joyful experience to watch Karen's face fall when she finds out her good boy is a rotten thief. Awesome manager plays the tape, and Karen's son and his friend, clearly identifiable as their only means of a disguise, was their school track hoodies pulled over their hair. Folks, they had freaking names on the back. They were wearing the hoodies as they sat in the car waiting. The Karen was too stunned to speak at first, but eventually remembered how to Karen and stormed out shrieking that she'd be calling corporate. For what? Who knows, but she's calling anyway. I'd laugh if she Karened out so bad, called corporate, and corporate decided to press charges against her good boy son and his friend. It would be all Karen's fault why that occurred, but also beautiful karma too. This next one is by AC Leafio. I'm currently at a hospital. My mother yesterday started to have a high fever of 39.5 Celsius and it wouldn't go down to anything below 38.5 after medication. She's also been having stomach issues, so we figured she might have an infection and decided to take her to the emergency hospital. While there, my mother, who is also a cancer patient, is cold and feels tired. She told me she was tired and cold, so I wrapped my arms around her and let her lean into my chest so she can have some rest. Then, this entitled mom who sat behind us with her child began to talk. She asked who this woman next to me was, my mother, was to me. I said this is my mother. She said that it didn't look like that and we were both in a public space, so we should be mindful of what it looked like. We shouldn't be hugging, looking so intimate. I was pissed. My mom asked me what was going on because she didn't know any English. We spoke Mandarin. I ignored the lady and told my mom it was nothing. The lady was just making small talk. The lady saw me ignoring her and settled down, but still annoyed, and I could feel her staring from behind. I ignored her for the most part, continuing to hug my mother. The lady began to quietly, yet I can still hear her whisper, and told her son that being a lesbian was a sin, and that what we were doing was wrong and that God will punish them. That's why they were here, etc. I turned to the boy and said, "That's right, your mother speaks from experience." And I turned back around. Entitled Mom was pissed and began to say,
Excuse me?
I ignore her. She repeats the words "excuse me" just as loud, hoping I would react, but I acted like I didn't hear her. She didn't stop until the nurse told her to please be quiet. The lady moved away to a different seat away from me. As always, sorry for my grammar. English is not my first language. Update: thank you everyone for the well wishes. My mom was put on IV due to severe dehydration from fever and is now discharged and safely home. The doctor said we were waiting on test results, which will take a few days. My mother should be okay. She could have a stomach viral infection or a bacterial one. Would have to wait on results. Thank you again for everyone's well wishes. I'm glad that you and your mom both made it out of there, home, and are safe. I'm glad you don't have to deal with that Karen, and I'm glad that the nurse finally asked the Karen to be quiet, because that Karen really doesn't know the situation of everybody, but I like how she's walking around acting like she does. And our final one is from Secret Flower Gardens. So I was talking to my husband and this story came up. He said I should share it here. To start off, this happened almost 8 years ago, so dialogue might be off a bit. So a little backstory. My mom has a bad history with cars. She breaks them down within 2 years of getting them, no matter the condition they're in when she buys them. She cannot take care of them. When my older sister bought her first car at 19, my mom would borrow it for appointments and trips constantly. And by the time I was 18, you could tell she drove it. Well, I saved up money for 6 years working hard to get enough for the car I wanted. And my grandpa even pitched in when I turned 18 and graduated high school with better grades than my sister. My grandpa went to the dealership with me and we looked at Ford because that's what I wanted. Then I saw it. A 5-speed, 2-door Ford Focus, and I loved it. Why? Because my mom couldn't drive a Standard. I smiled. So we get it for a steal at $4,000 up front. Then we drive home and the following conversation ensues. We got me, we got entitled mom, we got awesome grandpa, and we got entitled sisters. I got my car! They run outside to check it out, admiring it and smiling.
Wow, hey, can I borrow it sometime?
No, you can't drive a stick, Mom.
What? But how are you gonna learn to drive it?
I'm going to teach her. Entitled sister looks angry. She can't drive a stick either, and I know she planned to use my car since entitled mom damaged hers.
But you can't take a driving test with a Standard. They don't allow it.
Yes, they do now. Now stop whining. It's her car, not yours. Unless you were planning to take it from her. Entitled sister and entitled mom look nervous. They would never admit it to awesome grandpa. He kicked them out, and since they lived with him at the time and were broke, it wasn't a good idea.
Of course not. I just worry about my baby girl, that's all.
Sorry, but no one is driving this car but me and awesome grandpa. I can't wait to learn. Over the next week, they glared at me and hated that I was learning. Mom asked Grandpa to teach her at one point, and he said it was up to me since I had the only Standard car. Nope, my car. I had that car till I was 22 when my husband crashed it due to avoiding a drunk driver. Best little car I ever had. Oh, and entitled mom still can't drive a Standard. Edit. Oh my god, guys, I went to bed and you all blew this up so fast. Because it was mentioned a lot in the comments, I'm gonna put it here. Yes, I live in America, and when I said my mom was bad with cars, I did not mean gas and mess, though she does make a mess. I meant that she actually drives like a nutcase. Examples are she rides her brakes constantly, forgets to turn the car all the way off, leaving the battery to die, doesn't change the oil, ever, expects others to repair it for free, takes shortcuts through roads that destroy your tires, drive as fast as she can over tracks, destroying the tires and the alignment, and she's let friends into her car and any car she drives that have no respect for her or the vehicle. My sister had urine stains on her passenger seat from one of the friends Mom helped. I hope this clears things up a bit on why I was so eager to get a car she couldn't drive. Also, my grandfather had a rule. Keys always went on the key rack. Spares stayed at home in case you locked yourself out of the car with your keys inside it somewhere, and he could come get you and save us from spending money to get the keys out. I have to say that's brilliant, and a perfect way to keep something that you want for only you to be reserved for you, and obviously awesome grandpa. I'm sure your mom and sister are still salty to this day, but in the end, it's really on both of them. Alright, that's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled Parents. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.